ain't some rhinestone bit, and this ain't some circus show. Yeah, son, this is pure cowboy shit. Ain't your daddy's rodeo. No, it ain't his rodeo.
Hey everybody, I'm Ted Stoven, and this is Cowboy Shit, the podcast. Thanks for joining us this week. We talked about last week. We're gonna have a little bit of a different format on the show once in a while. So I don't think I've ever done this before, but this is the first maybe time ever that I've done the top of the show by myself. But I just want to say thanks for joining, and thanks for continuing to listen to the show. I think I was wearing the same sweater when I recorded when I think Dustin and I both recorded this interview with Alee back in September at the Canadian Country Music Awards in Edmonton. We did a lot of great interviews that week. We still have a couple more that we're going to share. But yeah, this was a really fun show we did. We've got another one already that we recorded a while ago that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks as well with a man by the name of Chris Cook. Not Chris Cook from Feature Productions. Sorry, Chris from Feature. But this is a buddy of Dustin's that's a major speaker around the world as well. So we got that to look forward to. This past weekend, I was in Lethbridge with the PBR Canada Cup Series. Nick Tetz wins his 5th consecutive event in Lethbridge, which is wild. I think it's been since 2022. He won 2022. He won 2 shows in 2023, and then 2024 he won the event, and then 2025. So he's won 5 consecutive shows in Lethbridge, riding lights out. 4 of the guys rode all 3 of their bulls. Nick Tetz wins it by 3.5 points over Jake Gardner. Jared Parsonage is 0.5 point behind Gardner. And Francisco Costa, one of the new Brazilian guys, is in there at 4th. But I got to say, kudos to Brock Radford. Makes 2 solid rides. He finishes 5th, bucked up his first one. But glad to see Brock back. Glad to see Lonnie West back. Dakota Butter was 6th. He rode his first 2, fell in the short round. But also fell 1 spot to number 2 in the PBR Canada standings to Nick Tetz back number 1 spot. Nick's back in the number 1 spot. There's 3 guys that have already won 10,000 on the season this year too, which is great to see. But just a unreal great event in Lethbridge once again. A lot of great bucking bulls. Man, I forgot that this Francisco rode Blue Magic. That's a bull that does not get ridden much, but Francisco made a great bull ride. He finished 3rd. He was 89.5 points. It was a high mark ride of the event. Yeah, the next event on the Cup Series is going to be Brandon, Manitoba at the Keystone Center. It's a 2-day show this year, Friday, May 23rd and Saturday, May 24th. Another cool thing, we're going to have the Coy Larson Memorial PBR. That's going to be the next show I'm going to be at, actually. It's going to be the 9th of May, the day after my birthday. So looking forward to that one. And yeah, thanks for joining into the show this week, everybody. I'm in Phoenix right now, getting some golf in with Donnie Johansson and Jim and Kim Nevada coming down, I think, tomorrow or the next day. So looking forward to a great week down here. We'll be back on Saturday, and then going to another one of the sports medicine spring training camps. Canadian Pro Rodeo Sports Medicine Team has the spring training camps. I'll be there from 10 to 2 on Sunday with my friend Cassie Hausauer of Lipstick and Cowboy Boots. So yeah, great week on the go here. Got some new shit that just launched on the website as well. It's one of our new designs. They're all named after Alberta towns. And I don't know what this one's called right now. Maybe the Coronation? Maybe Coaldale? I think it's a C name. Anyways, a lot of fun new stuff on the website. It's all kind of like launching this week as well. A lot of new designs have been around for a little bit that we're just kind of launching. So stay tuned, folks. Cowboyshit.ca. And yeah, thanks for staying with us and enjoy the show this week.
Cowboy Shit at the CCMAs continues, and another outstanding guest joining us here this afternoon, a CCMA nominated artist, Female Artist of the Year nominee, Rising Star nominee, and a 3-time ACMA Female Artist of the Year. The awards list can continue on, but without further ado, welcome Alee to the show today.
Hey.
We're so happy you could join us here at the Matrix today.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
And it's got to be cool. It's Canadian Country Music Week, and you're in your hometown.
It feels like home in more ways than one, obviously. You know, I get to sleep in one of my old beds at night, and then I get to come out and see all of my country music family. So it's pretty awesome.
What does it mean for a city like Edmonton to host a week like this? Because a lot of people might just see the award show tonight on TV and, you know, and say, oh, awards are in Edmonton, Saturday night at Rogers. But for the industry, it's so much more than what happens tonight.
Totally. Well, I think it's a great reason to come back to Edmonton. I'm trying to think. It's been a few years since CCMAs were back
10
here.
10 years, I think.
Really? Is
Yeah,
that
I think
how?
it was 10 or 10 or more than 10. Jackie Ray talked about it where they started the Legend show here.
Okay.
I want to say it was like 2013 or something.
Well, there you go. It's more than a few years.
Yeah.
So it's great to be back here. And I know it's always nice to tell my friends where to go and eat, where to go hang out, all those things. Not like we have time for that during this week, but it's also a great opportunity for the fans to get a chance to see, obviously, all the artists who are on the show, but it's cool to see all the up-and-coming artists, too, coming out of Canada right now, and all the cool little restaurants that they've been showcasing at all weekend long, so it's pretty awesome.
And you lived through that as a rising artist coming
Totally.
to the CCMAs for the first time. Talk about your experience when you were first nominated, and where was the awards for your first nomination?
My first nomination year was...
Was it 2017?
It was 2017, so I'm trying to think, was that Saskatoon that year? I think it was Saskatoon. Yes, it was. It was Saskatoon because all my
Saskatoon.
mom's
Saskatoon
family is from just outside of Saskatoon. So it was literally a homecoming of like all of my family, which was kind of cool. Also, Saskatchewan's like second home. So it was it was awesome.
Whereabouts in Saskatchewan for our prairie guests?
It's Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah.
So 45 minutes
heard of
north
that
of
one.
Saskatoon. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. No, so it's great to be here.
And going back to the CCMA side of things, and then you went on to have a CCMA Female Artist of the Year nomination.
Yeah.
What was that like when you found out you were in that group of very talented female artists?
I mean, obviously, it's a lot of years coming up in this industry, and you work towards that moment. And it's kind of funny because even I messaged all my friends who were up for their first nominations this morning, and I was like, take in every single second of it that you can, because you kind of forget to live in the moment and appreciate how far you've come to be in that moment where you're, you know, representing Canadian country music, which is kind of wild when you think of, you know, growing up with a dream and it kind of starts coming to fruition.
What's, for a first timer here, what's the really cool moment of it all? Like, what out of all of it for you, even, or a new artist here this week? Like,
What do you
what's that
remember?
pinch me moment? Yeah.
I mean, for me this week, it was like I was telling you guys earlier, Friday night, Thursday night at Cook County Saloon and seeing the fans out, and like all of my friends who are also some of my favorite artists on stage, and, you know, just everything kind of coming together. It's cool to see everyone and the success that they've really brought to this industry and the songs that are being created coming out of Canada. I mean, it's just so incredible and just amazing to be a part of it all.
What all events have you been at this week besides Cook County?
I've kind of just laid low this
Yeah.
week. Honestly, more than anything, I think it's all about, like, you know, walking into a random hotel and running into all your friends, and then you end up walking with them here and going there. And you've got like the songwriters rounds, which are also
Did you
awesome
get to any of
too. I got to the Friday real quick
That was
with Dasha and
Yeah.
Brad Rempel.
it was really cool. And
Yeah.
then was it Dave? Is it David Fanning?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lowell, who wrote, we talked about it just this morning, but she co-wrote Texas Hold'em with Beyonce.
Yeah, no, it's
Wild.
pretty crazy.
It was really cool.
And even the ties between, honestly, Canada and Nashville coming together. There's a lot more of that now, and especially, you know, now being more based in Nashville, it's cool to see how many of the Canadians actually run a lot of the roost out there too.
Oh, really?
Well, and you mentioned, so you also are in Nashville now primarily, is that right?
Yeah,
Full-time?
Nashville's more home for me now, which is great.
Yeah. What's the dynamic like for the Canadian artists and songwriters down there? Do they stay pretty united, or is it just everybody's kind of going out there about their business down there?
I think everyone's gotten better about trying to just go about their own business, although we kind of always end up together in some way, shape, or form. But it's funny, any like American that you meet, they're like, oh, you're one of the Canadians. Like, you guys are actually taking over the city now. And it's
Really?
funny because
That's cool
just
to
about
hear.
anyone you meet, whether it's music or not, there's just so many Canadians down in Nashville now. So
Really?
it's awesome.
So how many
No
years
way.
have you been in Nashville primarily?
Just about 6.
So have you seen in the 6 years like a shift in more kind of Canadian talent taking things over? So has this been Yeah.
Totally. There's a ton. I mean, I think about, everyone even coming down to write a lot more too. I get like at least one message a month, if not more, many more usually, of like new artists coming to town
Really?
too, who are just like, we're coming for 2 weeks to write songs. And it's cool to be able to connect
Really?
everyone coming through.
Oh, wow. Well, so I was just talking with Morgan Kleiber this morning, and she says she's going in October. And then Julia says she's been back and forth lots now. But, like, I'm trying to think, like, how long has, like, Tennille been down there for now?
I think she's at about, like, 10 years.
Actually, that's right. She told us. It was almost exactly 10 years.
So I've always wondered that, when you say, hey, I'm going to Nashville, artist, I'm going to Nashville.
Yeah.
Do you go down with an itinerary, or is it just kind of like go down there and see what happens?
See if you can make it?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're relocating, I think it's important to have your mindset on like a goal of what you're coming to achieve. But I think the beauty of that town, like I tell anyone I meet, is that Nashville is a city of opportunity. And the cool thing about Nashville is there's not just one road to success, and there's not, one ideal thing that you're chasing. So I mean, like, you've got the bands and the artists that are playing Broadway, you've got songwriters, you've got musicians, you've got people who are working marketing and music, like there's so many different outlets to chase no matter what you love in music. And you can find success, I don't want to say easily, in that town, but if you're willing to work for it, it's pretty cool what you can do.
And what about the social media side of it? I know, like, as a lot of artists now, they get discovered on a TikTok or social media, and it's an instant kind of success. Is that happening as much in Nashville, or do you kind of got strike first and then go to Nashville?
I mean, everything right now, I think in music especially, is determined by an algorithm, which is
pretty wild.
It's wild, especially considering, I mean, I've been making music now for well over 10 years, and I find myself very lucky to have gotten into it when I did, because it was just about the quality of music. Do you have a great song? Is it produced great? Do you sound good? Like, it was just those basic factors, and now there's so much more that goes into it. But with that said, it also creates so much more opportunity for anyone who's wanting to get into it, where, it's no longer, are you spending all this money on this and for it to sound like this? It's just, here's stripped down what I do. Do you like it or do you not like it? And if the algorithm takes it, I mean, it's pretty cool. Overnight, you can kind of become quite successful.
That's interesting. So we chatted about Nashville a bit, but let's go back. We're in Edmonton, your hometown. What was your musical journey growing up in the city, and what was the moment where it kind of all changed for you here?
I was a piano player first and foremost. We always laugh when my parents went to go buy the piano. I was crying for the violin, so I always kind of wanted a string instrument. And here I grew up with a lot of more like pop rock based music, a lot of top 40 on the radio, but it was always the prairie influence of my mom's family being in Saskatchewan, where we'd go visit my grandparents. And my grandma to this day only plays the AM station on her stovetop radio.
660?
You got it. Yeah.
Right?
CFCW.
Oh,
or not CFCW,
no, it's something
CJW.
else. Yeah,
CJW. Yeah.
There we
That's
go.
right.
Out of Saskatoon.
Yeah, exactly. So
we've been on the road a bit too. On the
no,
rodeo
it's great.
trail.
I love it. No, but so we grew up listening to that, and my grandpa would play country classics on the acoustic guitar. And
oh, cool.
As soon as I kind of finished my piano journey, I picked up a guitar and started teaching myself and just playing along to like my favorite artists. I feel like the transition for me into country music was like, obviously you had Shania Twain growing up no matter what, but it was finding Brad Paisley and Sugar Land and Sarah Evans, and those were the artists that kind of moved everything into country music for me. And then it was just a matter of, I started writing, I started doing a lot of things, and it was actually Calgary MCC Recording Studios who won last night Studio of the Year again, and that's where I made my first album of just songs I had written by myself to use as kind of a calling card to get co-writes with other people. And
oh, really? So is MCL the one that is somehow connected with Maddie too? Is that
MCC
is OCL?
And that's OCL that you're thinking of is connected with Maddie.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
MCC is
wife's family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Dave Temple and Johnny Gasparic run MCC over there. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we're still new around here.
No, I love it.
We're trying to learn the landscape. This is like our first
time
taste of everything that's country music in the industry.
It's great. And honestly, there's so much in Alberta, which I'm so thankful for. You know, growing up, you think about even your greats, your artists. You've got your Gord Bamford, you got Carolyn Dawn Johnson, you got Brett Kissel, you got High Valley. You know, could go on and on. We've just got so much talent too coming right out of Alberta, which is awesome.
So what about Corb though? Why is he on the outside of this? Why is he on the outside of these things? Is that
there's
like
so
they're
many
not
different
like
sounds, right?
yeah.
I think that's the beauty of country music though now is, you know, there's a little bit of everything involved. But no, I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you talk about songwriting a lot. You've mentioned it a few times already about writing songs. Obviously that's a passion for you, but
Totally.
when did you pen your first song, like start to finish, and be like, I love doing this. This is what I want to do.
I mean, I think it was poetry first for me. Like I grew up in school just loving creative writing. But it was probably 12 or 13 when I started writing my own songs. And the cool thing is like the first songs that I had played on country radio were songs that I just wrote by myself. Like Don't Say You Love Me is the reason that I ended up getting my first record deal. And that was a song just solely written by me.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned influences, but we didn't get to any names. I'm curious who. So, well, although you did talk about Brad Paisley, Sugarland, a few of the different people like that, but you mentioned influences, so I wanted to make sure we talk about that a bit.
I'm all over the place now. I feel like I grew up, like I said, it was like a mix of like Brad Paisley. I grew up with like NSYNC and Britney Spears were like some of the first artists for me on the pop side.
We're all in similar age.
I think I was going to say
Yeah.
we're the same era for sure.
Yeah,
Totally.
same era, yeah.
Well, then you have Nickelback, you have Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know,
True.
it was like
Sum
a very
41.
good. Exactly. I saw Avril Lavigne last week with Simple Plan, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a blast from the past. You know,
Where would they have been?
That was, or where were they
Where was
playing?
the show? Yeah, where was
in
the show?
Nashville.
Oh, no way.
They're playing
Yeah.
Calgary this week.
Yeah.
At the Dome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
No.
Avril is anyways.
And it was a great show, honestly. And it's all that, I think, mixed with the country influences. I like to say a lot of what I'm doing now is, like, I call it Y'all 2K, because it's just like early 2000s inspired country, you know,
Right
just
on.
trying to match all of the things that I grew up listening to and kind of bring in some more listeners to country music.
I like it.
Whenever I hear a song from the 2000s, I'm like, oh, this is my jam. Now the younger people are like, that's an old song. I'm like,
Totally.
that's Brad Paisley. Mud on the Tires is a
Isn't it old?
classic. Like,
Yeah, come on.
oh, we're starting to age ourselves a little bit here. But so when was the moment for you? You know, you talk about your journey young in Edmonton. When did everything kind of come together and you start, you know, you're starting to get nominations and it really rises for you? Was there just like a single moment that just all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is it. I'm on another level.
I think for me, it was probably writing Moonshine with Andrew Hyatt. We started the song together. That was literally, I had just signed my first record deal off of Don't Say You Love Me. And from there, we wrote that song. I didn't think too much of it until I was out with my grandma visiting a great uncle. And I got a call from the label and they were like, we think Moonshine's going to be the first single out. And you know, you get excited about those moments because now you've got a full team behind you and everything's super exciting, and you jump into it. And at the time, Moonshine was actually written as kind of an ode to my grandpa. He's been gone, I want to say 13 years now. But it's kind of cool because he's been part of that journey with me and never actually got to experience a lot of, you know, the award nominations and all of that stuff, but he's still kind of a part of it in some way. And that's really the song that broke me into, you know, a lot of radio play, the reason for the CCMA nominations. That song is also part of the reason that I'm now in Nashville. And it's kind of just cool to see how that all works.
That song is a heater. I love that song.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely still like the song, I think, when I heard your name and when we were getting the chance to meet you, I'm like, oh, I love that song. That's that was a total banger, as I like to call it. So when you have that moment and now that song takes you to places you probably dreamed about, let's talk about that journey, because I know you've played some amazing places with some amazing artists. So talk about some of the highlights thus far of maybe the live music side of things and festivals and things like that.
I mean, like this summer we got to play Boots and Hearts again, which was so awesome.
And they just won
They
event or
did.
Festival of the Year, right?
Festival of the Year, yeah,
so
they
you're
did.
part of that.
I'm tied into a lot of these.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the thing I think more than anything is getting this far and looking back and seeing all the friendships I've made, all of the cool things I've done. And it's been with friends the whole time. And I think that's the beauty of the country music industry, is because it's all so closely tied. It is truly family. And now I just kind of get to look back at it and be like, well, like, we're here, and what's next, you know? Because the beauty of country music too is it doesn't just like stop either. There's such a big lifeline and all these stories to tell, and it's like, okay, what crazy things do we have to do next to write a song about the next crazy thing that'll be the next hit, you know?
What would you like to be next for you?
I mean, I'm working on, now that the album's out, I'm working on a brand new album, which is crazy, and I think touring's always been a big thing for me, and looking forward to figuring out how to get the show on the road and see as many fans as possible, because that's what it comes down to. There'd be no music if there were no fans. So
That's true. Any crazy stories from the journey or from the road, or anything that's, you know, that always has stuck with you, is like, wow, this was some wild things that have happened? We love hearing about the stuff that no one gets to see behind the scenes.
I'll tell you, the thing that everyone always gives me a hard time for on the road, where Andrew Hyde and I have this conversation all the time, is I'll never forget Radio Tour. And he was like, Alee, you're just like not a normal person, in the sense of, we'd start the day, we'd get in the van every morning, we'd do a McDonald's run and a gas station run. And at the McDonald's run, I would get, oh God, I'd get a McFlurry some mornings, a Smartie McFlurry.
What time
you know,
of the
like,
day
I don't know, like this is 8 a.m.
Like a breakfast McFlurry?
Like
Oh,
a
really?
breakfast McFlurry.
Oh my
that
gosh.
happened a couple of times.
What do they say when you, do they give you a look when
Like,
you
are
order a
you sure?
McFlurry?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not in the front seat. So
Oh,
luckily,
fair
I'm
enough.
not the person who has to deal with the flack of
Right.
it.
Oh, wow.
And then we'd stop at the gas station, and I'd get the white Monster energy drink
I was
and a
gonna say
bag of
energy
all
drink.
dressed chips. And Andrew
my
was like,
goodness.
Tour Alee is just a scary
Oh my
human being.
goodness.
Yeah, it's just a different thing. So there's
That's a
things like that.
Crazy order.
So can you put that in the rider now when you get on tour?
I think we
White-
have to. Yeah, no,
White
exactly.
Monsters, McFlurries, and all dressed chips.
Yeah.
Holy.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
that's the thing. And you know what? My crazy stories of back and forth was when I started going to Nashville. I'd always get requests of like, bring this back, because we don't have these
Yeah.
food items here. One of them being Krispy Kreme donuts. Before we had them,
They would go so bad so quickly, though, would they not?
They would, but I chanced it one time, and for my brother, in my carry-on, I literally brought back 4 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh my gosh.
What do they say at customs when you come through?
Well, so this is the fun story.
She got her Nexus card
We're getting
revoked.
through customs, and the dog obviously sniffs me out. And the woman goes, okay, well, what's in the carry-on? And I go, well, there's 4 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. You think this woman believed me when I said that?
Not
No.
a chance.
I pulled out all the donuts. Then my bag starts coming around the carousel. And she goes, okay, dog's sniffing out this bag. She goes, okay, whose bag is this? And I'm going,
The
okay,
dog's hungry.
here we go. It was also filled with flaming hot Cheetos and a bunch of cereals. So, yeah, no,
Oh,
it's,
wow.
it's been fun.
You're like what are they, like the drug mule, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for the snack version.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's good to know that we're safe from contraband and Krispy Kremes with the dogs at the airports.
100%.
Is the moral of the story.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you, you know,
But now it's probably going the other way, where you're bringing all your Canadian Tim Hortons coffee down to Nashville.
Ketchup
I
chips?
literally already have a bag full of Smarties,
Yeah.
Canadian Kit Kats,
Yeah.
ketchup and all dressed chips. Like,
Yeah.
yes.
You got all that stuff.
exactly.
You're going back, so it's probably
Yeah.
more so that way now.
Yeah.
You're like, actually, I
Don't
like
tell
all this
anyone.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
Dustin.
I was going to ask you, you know, since this is kind of a new world for us, understanding the difference between, and it's probably more so in Nashville, you know, singers versus singer-songwriters, because I know there's some people that just will sing other people's songs, and I don't know for yourself if you prefer your own versus co-written or others.
Yeah.
What does that process kind of look like?
I mean, I think it's tough, especially as an up-and-coming artist, because as just a singer who does not write your own songs, you're asking for pitch songs. And for instance, out of Nashville, we call them like A, B, C, and so on level songs. Your A and B level songs are going to your like top US radio artists.
Okay.
And then like C and D and onwards, those kind of songs kind of trickle down to the artists who, you know, haven't done a lot yet, who are just getting going, or Canadian artists. We kind of have not the
Picking
the
up the
greatest
leftovers?
time. We kind of get the leftovers where
Oh.
I think you're kind of lucky when you find really magical songs and someone's willing to take a chance on you cutting that song, which is really cool. I think because of that, I was kind of forced to be a songwriter.
Okay.
So that I could control how good of a song we got based on how good of a song I could write. And it's taught me a lot over the years, and it's taught me a lot about, I think, myself as an artist and what I want to say and how I want to make people feel. And it's also been fun because it gets me into the room with other artists because I love helping them tell their story too. So it's been a fun journey being a songwriter as well.
I was looking at the co-writes, and you got a couple songs with Devin Cooper.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
I sure do.
Yeah. But okay, why are they not under Alee though? And why are they under your full name?
Because
is that like a legal thing?
It's a legal thing.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Alexandra Adamowski is my full name.
Yeah.
So as a songwriter, that is me. So it's kind of cool because I get to separate
you have two names.
the artist and the songwriter a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting. My real name's William. Nobody really knows.
Love that.
Is there as much jubilation for you when you record a song and it does well that you wrote, or do you feel the same when someone else sings your song that you've wrote? Is that... I love performing songs that I've written, but it is an extra special little icing on the cake seeing someone else perform and record a song you've written, just because you also get to see what they've done with the song after leaving the writing room. I think for me as an artist, I know kind of what I want the song to sound like, even production wise and all of that when I'm writing the song. Whereas when an artist takes it, they take it to a different producer and it sometimes turns into something totally different. So it's like the element of surprise almost, where the song kind of has a second life after the writing room.
And what have been some of the biggest successes on that side of things, on the writing side? I'm trying to look up a few right now.
Devin's obviously cut some stuff. I've had some songs, I don't know if they're coming out, but with an artist named Lydia Sutherland. There's a great artist named Evie out of Nashville who I've been just writing with now, and we've been writing some really cool songs. So
cool.
We'll see. And then, things are always on hold. I'm trying to think. There was a song that I had on hold, and I can't even think of... It's on the top of my brain right now, but I've had some really cool like Nashville holds too. How it works in Nashville is like an artist will hold, let's say, a couple hundred songs. Their team will listen through, hold a song, and then they'll keep on like cutting down the list until it makes like the 10 that go on the album.
Oh, really?
So I've had quite a few songs that I'm really lucky to say have been holds for bigger artists, which is awesome too. So
but then they got to give it up after
but then they kind of give it up after and there's songs that beat it out, but it's cool where it's like, okay, we've made it this far, maybe the next one will be a little further and a little further. So
that's interesting. See, we're getting a look behind the curtain of the questions I've always been curious about in the songwriting and Nashville. If you're a songwriter, singer, artist, is it more beneficial financially to have your songs cut by other artists, or for you to sing them, record them? Like, what does that side of it look like?
If you're getting a radio cut in the U.S. with a big artist like, Luke Bryan or whatever, that is definitely a great thing, and I think we all love that. But it's an interesting world. You never know what happens with a song now. You just you kind of have to trust the journey of the song. I think it kind of picks its own way it works, and you just keep your fingers crossed and hope it does something. And honestly, more than the money, I think you just hope people are going to hear it. So
yeah, if for you, I've asked this to a couple of our guests, do you got to be sad to write a sad song, happy to write a happy song, or do you like to storytell and go wherever
have to live through the heartbreak?
Yeah,
as we found out with Dasha yesterday.
Yeah,
it's quite the saga.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, her stories are wild. When we started actually this most recent album, it was a whole thing that my producer was like, Alee, you're a very happy person in a happy relationship. We have to stop writing heartbreak songs. I like to say that I just grew up like kind of in the sad girl emotions. I think it was the Avril Lavigne's. I think it was like some of like, the heartfelt, maybe more pop leaning side things that made me love a sad song. And I like to say that where we all feel love differently, I think we all feel heartbreak the same. So it's kind of, so it's kind of brought me into this, like, I love writing sad girl songs so much, but it was fun. It was a challenge, if anything, with this album to kind of write some more upbeat, happy love songs. And I think we did a pretty good job. So
let's talk about the album. It just came out a couple months ago, right?
Yes, it did.
And, what can, if someone hasn't heard it yet, we're obviously go download it and listen to it and stream it. What can they expect on this new album?
it's definitely, like I said, it's more love songs on this album. We've got more upbeat. It's just, I think, a great album that you can throw on, and through anything you are feeling, there's a song on this album for it. It's kind of funny because going through the process of this album, like I said, I was in a great relationship, and we were kind of figuring out how do we, merge the happy songs with a couple heartbreak songs. I came up with this concept, Love Again, first off as a joke, because there were so many songs on the album that had the title Love in it, where I was like, oh, it'd be so funny to just be like, Love Again, like another love song, here we go. And then after thinking through the concept, I was like, it would be kind of cool to write all about, the concept of falling in and out of love and finding like the beauty in a heartbreak. So it's your heart broke and hopeless, and then you get to fall in love again. And it's that, going through the healing process. And I think we've all been through one or two relationships that did not work out. And
are you talking about me?
I'm talking from personal experience, actually.
Okay. Devin too. What?
Devin, yeah, exactly.
I like how we're all been there. I like how
we're all looking around the room.
Like,
yeah,
no one's exempt from that comment. Yeah.
But I think it's kind of cool because while it was the last song written for the album, it kind of brought everything into a world of like, oh, this all makes sense. And I kind of went through, and when I did the album songs or the album order, it kind of goes through the sentiment of falling in and then out of love, and then you get to listen back through, and it starts of like falling in love again. So
how does it end?
Well, the beauty of it, it's a circle. It's a circle. It's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and maybe the next album will tell you how it ends.
Okay.
So we've chatted through, songwriting, being an artist, kind of your journey. Outside of music, what do you like to do? What do you do for fun? What's Alee like outside of a songwriting room or a recording studio or a stage?
It's not exciting. I'm going to tell you that much. No, I love, honestly, I've been at the point where I'm like, I love sitting down and watching like some good trash TV. But then I've been getting into a lot of like going for bike rides and listening to my favorite albums while just like being in nature. I rock climb every now and then. I'm a Pilates girl now. And it's just been fun to kind of just be active and moving and doing things again, and also seeing how music changes all of those things. So that's me in a nutshell. I also like shopping. If that
shopping. Me too.
Yeah, I'm a big shopping fan.
You get along with my Alee just fine. She's been shopping all day here while we've been.
She's been shopping all day.
Oh, she's been shopping. Yeah.
Yeah.
It always starts with, I didn't need this, but
yeah,
but I had to get it.
I agree.
But she's a downtown gal now. She's got to have all the different outfits for the office.
You gotta have it all.
Office clothes.
You were chatting about just being in New York recently.
Yeah.
And kind of how it's an inspiring place to be. And before we started, we asked you like, do you go different places? Are you inspired differently? So talk us through like what it's like for you to go to New York and get inspired.
I think the beautiful thing about New York is everyone's again chasing their own dream. They're chasing their own thing, and it's so fast paced. I love the people watching in New York. I love the random conversations I can get into in New York, and I just think that there's such a beauty of, the songwriting tie of seeing different people and being like, okay, what are they going through? What kind of song would they need in their life right now? What fuels them? And you get to New York, you also feel like a very small fish in a very big pond again. And I think there's, living in Edmonton, the city became so familiar to me. I think with Nashville too, whereas there was a point in time where everything was, exciting and fresh and new. It still is, because Nashville changes a lot these days. But the cool thing about New York is I feel like you also don't run out of things to do in New York. There's always somewhere new that you have not seen and you probably will never see. So,
unlike Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan.
Correct. Yeah. Fun fact about Blaine Lake I learned the other day, it's technically not even a town. It is a village because there's only 498 people, and it takes 500. Yeah, just under the So
if they get 5 more people to move there, it'll be a town all of a sudden.
We'll be great.
Oh, okay. You mentioned you had a line in there about what song do they need right now. What song do you think Dustin and I need right now? Like if you're gonna pick one if you just see us sitting here, what would our songs be right now?
I feel like for all of us right now, it's probably like Tim Hicks Stronger Beer.
Oh, yeah. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we could all use one of those right now.
I was curious because
The bar's closed.
can we open it up for us, please? And we also need a McFlurry.
Please.
That.
Thank
Bag of
you.
all-dressed chips.
You mentioned how Nashville is always changing, and growing up in Edmonton and being in Edmonton, eventually you get so familiar with everything. But now it is coming back. Do you notice some changes? Like even when I came up this week, I'm like, oh, Edmonton seems there's new buildings. Does it feel different coming back after long periods of time, or does it just feel like right where you left off?
No, it feels there's certain things that always bring me back to the early days and growing up here. But it's cool. Like even tonight, I'm excited to go see friends like Tegan play the Ice District, which I still haven't really dove into yet.
You've seen it on TV, you said, during the playoff run.
Yeah, I've seen it during the Oilers playoffs. So it's going to be really cool to go and check that out. And I feel like it's cool how the city kind of gets reimagined a little bit too, right? So it's awesome.
That area has kind of changed
It's
this
so
downtown, hasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
It really has. And thank goodness, because I think we needed it.
Do you go watch the Oilers play in Nashville?
I do. And I have specifically gotten, so the Titans, our football team, used to be called the Oilers.
Right.
So I've now made sure that I only wear, which honestly isn't better, football merch. I wear the Titans,
The
Oilers football merch.
Is that when they were in Houston or something?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I wear that merch to the game because I feel like
Then you're
that
not a
just
traitor
gives
then.
us a 50-50.
You're only kind of a traitor,
Exactly.
not
That is
all
a
the way.
good strategy. So
I
you're
know.
still saying Oilers, but you haven't
But
sold
it's
out.
exactly.
It's the Tennessee Oilers.
Yeah.
It's the Tennessee
Houston
Oilers,
Oilers.
See, now Ted, he's one of those Alberta residents who has an Oilers jersey and a Flames jersey.
Okay,
But
we
I-
can't tell many
But
people
he cheers
that.
to forever.
No, I do.
Whoever's
I do
winning.
tell people that. It's Edmonton
Yeah.
first right now because they're better,
Yeah.
obviously.
Okay.
Did
No,
the
it
Oilers
was- it
break?
was-
Did
it
the
was a
Oilers
weird-
break your guys' hearts?
No,
little
they
bit
did
last
so
year?
great. I couldn't believe that they made it that far.
It was tough watching that last game. I'm not gonna lie.
it
That
did
was
suck. I
it
drank
was
a lot of whiskey that night.
As someone who,
Same.
as someone who works at the Saddle Dome, I had a little bit
You
of
weren't
relief.
that worried, yeah.
Yeah.
When your
Yeah.
when your two former players win the cup,
Yeah, that was tough.
that's a little rough. Oh man, okay. I gotta ask about this France show. What's the deal with this? November 16th, you got a show in France. Is that right?
No.
You
No,
don't?
I
It's
don't.
on your website.
I'm going to be completely
We gotta
honest
figure
with
this
you.
out.
There's an
I saw
EDM
this-
artist out of France
Has the same
who
name.
has the same name.
No way.
And it's
Oh,
great
wow.
because you don't know what show you're going to show up to.
Oh.
Does
Yeah.
it auto-populate? Like,
It
from somewhere?
auto-populates. Yeah,
Because I was like, what is this France show? How do you end up in France? What's the deal?
No, we try and stay on top of those and make sure. But
Oh.
apparently,
Well, so
apparently
just
we're
one.
in France now.
Sorry,
so.
my bad.
Well,
Okay.
the
I'd
EDM.
love to be
I
in
was
France.
excited about a France show. I
If
was
you
like,
love
I was also.
if you love EDM and you're in France, November,
yeah.
you won't see
Whoops.
this alley, but you'll see someone.
Okay. Well, sorry I didn't do my homework on that one.
No, we're great.
I was
We're so
trying to
good.
what's the deal? Yeah,
Maybe
so, anyways,
I'll end up there for that show too. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll just join forces.
jump in.
Is there some live events? We talked about Boots and Hearts this summer. That's super cool. A huge festival. Is there some bucket list festivals for you that you'd still like? Or like, I'd love to play this one day. Or
I mean, I think for me, it's like playing the arena here. It's more venues.
Okay.
So like that, playing the Opry is also top of list. But other than that, I mean, I got to play Big Valley Jamboree, so that was like one on my bucket list that got checked off. That
for
was the
someone from
hometown
Edmonton,
festival.
That's gotta
Exactly.
be pretty special, right?
Yes, for sure. So I'm sure there will be many more things on the list, but for now, yeah, we're just rolling with the punches.
So over the next year, what's your schedule? Or what are you working on? I know you mentioned another album.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the next year for you?
Yeah, pretty much getting back into the studio now and just hope to have as much music ready so next year we can keep it going and get on the road.
Awesome.
What's one of the next things that has to happen for you? I feel like we're in one of those situations where it's like the 10 years of hard work for the overnight success.
Totally. Yes.
But what's the next piece for you? Like, do you need that like one big song to really blow up, or like, is it the new album? Like something there's got to really hit, or like what has to happen next for you?
I think it's all based on an algorithm now. It's people finding the music. The music's out, which is awesome. And honestly, it's been great because creating all this visual content gives some of those old songs life again, which is kind of cool too. So it's been great because I also love being creative when it comes to all those things too. So it's another way to be creative. So you're going to see my face a lot more on social media,
Awesome.
unfortunately.
us too, apparently.
It's
Actually.
it's cool because you mentioned like it's almost like what's old can be new again
Yeah.
with trends, and it was like Jody Messina getting hugely popular again after
Yes.
her song finds its name in another song, and it's just amazing how things can just take flight once again, which leads me to asking, the state of country music. I'm gonna just say Canada specifically in female, male. To me, after being at the awards gala last night, it's got to be at like an all-time high for talent. Like, you guys are in very good company in Canada right now.
Yeah, there's a lot, but I'm always chasing and searching for like the up and coming and what's next. And I hope it doesn't die off anytime soon, is all I'm going to say. I hope there's still people who feel like, as tough as a grind this road can be, that they're still going to, be a part of it and try their luck in it. Because I think there's a lot of talented people who may be scared with, the way that things are now, even based on an algorithm, and how hard it is to get a song on the radio now. It doesn't really depend on that anymore, which is great. So I hope we still have, some young up and coming artists who are going to keep chasing and building out the Canadian country industry.
Do you have those conversations with young artists now that you've lived it yourself?
Yes. And I honestly, I love helping any way that I can, because I think it's important to, keep on building things forward. I'm only going to be here for so many years, someone's got to take things on after me, and it's cool to be a part of what other people are doing too.
Well, one thing I noticed last night when, at the end of the show, you see like Michelle Wright and Carolyn Dawn Johnson and Patricia Connor, I think, was up on the stage.
Yeah, she was.
That Canadian female artists specifically can have some just long and amazing careers.
Yes.
And just in Canada and the US, whatever, and there's been some trailblazers in that regard.
Absolutely. And those are names of women who have honestly helped me on my way up too. So it's cool. We'll see what's next.
Awesome.
One more question?
Yeah, so we always ask this, and we always put every guest on the spot, and there's no wrong answer, is what is your definition of cowboy shit?
Oh, that's a really good question.
It can be cowgirl too.
I feel like it's sitting around doing nothing, telling jokes, and playing card games.
Oh, that's the first time I've heard that one.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
never.
a good one.
I like that. Sounds like Lonesome Dove, like Gus and them playing cards,
sitting in the cabin doing that.
That's what we do.
Playing crib
with some AM country music on the radio.
Some AM country music,
right?
and some whiskey, and some stronger beer.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay, there was one thing I read about the dance side of things for you early on. Is that portrayed into the live shows? Like, is that something, or was it totally different kind of dance? I don't know.
Totally different kind of dance, but I think it's just helped stage movement and all of that. Just
presence.
just feeling like the stage is home too. The stage has just always been a place that I feel comfortable. So
good.
It's pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, this has been great to have you on the
It's been
show.
awesome, you guys.
And Chad, we're excited to hear the new album when it comes out.
Yeah. Love Again was released back in April, but get that wherever you find your music. And follow Alee on Spotify. All the
what about all your
channels?
socials? Where can we
Instagram,
find you on?
It's gotta
Amazon
be
Music.
Alee. Just about anywhere you look. GOTTABEALEE.
It's gotta be Alee.
It's gotta be Alee. That was my YouTube username when I was growing up, and it stuck. So that's what you get.
So TikTok,
IG, all the socials.
IG, all the socials. That's how you can find me.
X. Are you on the Twitter?
I am. Yeah. I'm still there. I don't know how I'm still there, but you know what? I feel like it's the place where I can say all the risky things that I don't want to go anywhere else. And if someone finds it, that's their own doing.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
It's great to be at CCMA Week with a CCMA nominated artist like yourself.
Thank you.
In your hometown. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
It's been great. Thanks, guys.